Hi guys, it's Luke from CPROP and just checking in. I'm going to try to make these videos regularly now that we've seen the EU put in their first government regulation for crypto. It's a big positive to me, and I think it's really going to help the crypto properties, CPROP, project moving forward. So I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about the real estate industry and how I got involved in blockchain with my co-founder, Sandy Selman, and also Adam Kohler. So Sandy and I actually were working on a project for one of the big property management companies in the United States, one of the, I'll say the top three. And the project that we were hired to do was to come in and assess the data that's within the company, how to pull together all of that data. What you find in large companies is you have a lot of data there that's siloed. So this particular group knows what's going on, but this group over here has no idea. Maybe they're even doing the same project. So we started looking at all the data that there is in commercial buildings. So from the time you build the building, what went into the building, what maintenance has been done on the building, what rents are paid to the building. There's always data that's moving in these buildings. Unlike a residential property, which maybe we sell for $500,000 to $5 million, some of these buildings are sold for hundreds of millions of dollars. So when we're making an investment like this, one of the things that we want to do is good due diligence. So we want to take a look at, what condition is the building in? If I pay X for this building, how do I know for sure that that's some money well spent? And the perfect vehicle for capturing all this data came to our knowledge at that time as being a blockchain. Well, why is that? Well, it's very simple. If you think about it, the blockchain allows us to take a piece of data, to put it date stamped and time stamped, audited, and we know no one can change it, right? If anyone's going to change it, then we're going to find out. It can't be fraudulent or faked at a later date. So let me regress for 1 minute for people that may not understand. Understand this. I can put fraudulent data on the blockchain, okay? And once I put it on the blockchain, it's there. So the idea is you take your data, you have an audit done of that data. That data is then applied to the blockchain. It's date stamped, it's time stamped, it's encrypted, and it's decentralized. Now, once that audit is performed and that's done, we know the data that has been put on the blockchain is correct. That data now, even if I go back 200, 300 years from now to check that data, what do I know? I know that data was audited at that time and that data is correct. So you see in the commercial real estate market, this is a big plus because constantly when buildings are sold, companies spend hundreds of thousands of dollars or more to have audits done of these buildings, what's in these buildings, what is occurring. If we can take this data and we can put this data on the blockchain and say we have all the data from the time the building was built and then till today, then all we really have to do now is update that data, right, from that point forward. So it becomes much more inexpensive and much more trustworthy. So commercial real estate is really what got us interested in blockchain. When we started to look at the commercial real estate market as well, we found that it's largely illiquid. So you buy a big commercial building, you put your money into it, you're generating rents, you're getting cash flow, but let's say you need a big repair on your building, say the roof or the chiller goes bad. Now you have to go to the bank, you have to borrow money in order to repair these things. Even worse, in a situation where, say I have 20 investors, right? And we've all invested in this big commercial property, and one of the investors wants to pull out. Currently, it's not possible in a large number of buildings. Now, to kind of get over this issue, in the US, we developed something called the REIT, the Real Estate Investment Trust. And what the REIT allows us to do is we take a whole bunch of buildings, we bundle them together, and then we sell pieces of that and we trade it on an exchange. Okay, this was a really good idea, works very well, but it doesn't account for all of the buildings in the US. And think of this, I'm now buying a share in a large number of buildings, okay? So some of those buildings are better, some of those are worse. The big accounting firms have done multiple studies and showed that the REIT membership, the leading buildings' value is pulled down by the laggard buildings. So our idea was, what if we could take buildings and tokenize them individually? And this was really one of the bases of CPROP, is to really take the technology that we have today and say, if I have a building, can I monetize it without sharing, ownership? But I'm making a token that allows people to buy, and it allows them to sell, it allows them to have the value in the building, but I don't constantly have to start changing the title with the government. And so you can build a special purpose vehicle now, you can tokenize the buildings, and you need an exchange to trade them on. So CPROP has waited since 2017, and finally EU now has put in place regulations that will allow exchanges like this to function. Okay, it has wallet tracking, it covers the idea of custody on these tokens, all of which we'll talk about in a different video. But I think because of this, what you're going to see is you're going to see really a boom in the interest in not just real estate, but really all of the big players in the financial world paying more attention to blockchain technology over the next year to year and a half. So if you're in the commercial real estate business, this is really something you need to pay attention to if you don't want to fall behind. Because we're going to have multiple people now that are developing multiple solutions to hold your data, to make your data more efficient, and thus save a lot of money. So over time, this is going to save a ton of money, right? That's number one. And then number two, you're going to start to see tokenized buildings. In the past, there's been maybe 20 or 30 people have tokenized the building. That's great. But what was the problem? Well, I can tokenize any building tomorrow, basically for free. The cost of making the tokens is almost nothing, right? Where the cost is involved is doing the appraisal of the building and having the third party tell me what its value is, right? But once I jump over this, the tokenization piece is easy. The difficulty is now I need to create a marketplace. So this is what CPROP has been working on since 2017, is this idea of having a marketplace where the big traditional players can come in and they can do business buying and selling these tokens in a regulated environment. So the regulation now that's come forward in the EU and hopefully will be matched soon in the United States and in Asia is really going to make these kind of exchanges possible. So exciting times. If you want more information on that, you can check out our company. It's called Crypto Properties. I'll put a link in below, cprop.io. Thanks.